Welcome back to the High Speed Garage. Thanks to Contrast Printing and Riverstone Radios for keeping this garage open. How was your week, boys?
Not bad.
No, I just worked mainly.
I had a pretty good Friday afternoon, or whole Friday. I started off with having to head down to Wiseman's Ferry for a job. I went to turn left out of my driveway, and there's a bloody sign saying Sackville Ferry closed. And then ended up having to go around through Pitt-town. Got to Pitt-town where not Pitt-town Road, where the takeaway shop is in McGrath Hill sort of thing. On your way out to Pitt-town, that was closed. Turned right to go down past the Anglican College, the high school. That was closed. Had to go all the way around, all the way down the end of Boundary Road in Oakville.
Yep.
Turned right to go onto, I think it's called Old Pitt-town Road.
Oh,
that was closed.
I would have you should have went straight up Anna Grove Road.
Well, that would have been a smarter idea. But I ended up going back down Boundary Road and heading up whatever that other road is. I can't remember. That's probably called Old Pitt-town Road. Headed around. Took me an extra 2.5 hours or whatever it was on the day, which was great. That was just cruising around with the heater on and drinking a coffee. Went down, did the job. It's just over the other side of the Wiseman's Ferry.
Was it a 2-minute job?
It was two main hoses on a on the bucket, like the bucket hitch cylinder. So it was a pretty old machine, so everything was all frozen. So I got to take a couple of hours down there.
At least you did a couple of hours.
So you bludged.
I bludged most of it.
It'd shit me driving 2.5 hours for a 2-minute job.
Yeah, no, ended up...
Not when you get paid $100 an hour.
Well, 150, thank you. Don't get out of bed for $20. Ended up heading back through Glenorrey, Annan Grove. Tried to get Christy Walker to give me a haircut when I come through Glenorrey because I look homeless, but she was too busy. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're running your own business and you're busy, I reckon that's a good thing anyway. Because it was taking me so long, I ended up speaking to Boss Man, and I just took the day off, picked the kids up from school, worked on the boat.
So it's finished?
Yeah, right. No, I'm not that efficient at the moment. The drive's not there, but I'm starting to do a little bit. And then Friday afternoon, we ended up hanging out at your place, Mick.
Yeah.
It was a good night.
Cooked everyone a mad dinner.
Good feed.
Wasn't as good as I would usually do because I had to work Friday for a change.
Yeah, you got stitched up by the time, didn't you?
Yeah, it took me a little bit. Well, I didn't want to cook something too nice because I didn't have the time during the day to cook it. But I still wanted to make something good. So when you start that sort of late in the arvo, you just don't eat till fucking 9 o'clock.
It was late. I didn't even eat.
I think I'd already had a couple of beers before the kids ended up walking around with food. But did you order pizza as well for them?
Yeah. Yeah, because it was going to be late. I was, kids can have pizza.
Yeah, my daughter was running around. Holy shit, pizza is mad. Love it. No,
yeah, I just thought it was easy. Instead of making them wait till bloody 9 o'clock when we were eating. What did you think of the food?
No, very good. We had pork belly and then, what was that? Pork
skewers.
Crispy pork belly. Oh, yeah.
The skewers were good.
Prawn and
chorizo skewers.
And then the brisket. Oh, it wasn't brisket.
No,
was it?
No, it was just pulled beef.
Yeah. No, it was
cooking anything pulled fucking piece of piss.
Yeah, you just got to let it cook long enough.
Yeah. If you don't know how to cook pulled beef, just cook the fuck out of it and it'll cook.
Yeah, you got to give
not real fast,
time,
but
that's all.
You can cook it fast. It doesn't really matter as long as you don't burn the outsides of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I ended up Saturday afternoon, heading up to Jason Cook's place and gave him a hand on his race boat, getting a bit more buttoned up on that. And
it'd have to be pretty close that one, wouldn't it?
It's pretty close, yeah.
It just come back from Child's Play, didn't it?
Has
it been there yet?
Yeah. It went down. He had to get a couple of things modified, and then Josh is coming down to get all wiring and stuff like that from Bundy. Hopefully, it should be firing up, and then he'll rip it all apart, get everything anodised, and throw it back together, and it'll be good to go.
Just in time for the 105 rule to come in.
Yeah, I know. He's been talking about that. He sort of wants to just get it done. He hasn't wanted to rush it because he knows if he rushes it, he'll make it not what he wants it to be. So once it's done, he'll just sort of pull a bit out of it and run 95 and do a heap of vintage and veteran stuff like that because it's sort of is a vintage and veteran sort of boat. Like, yeah, it's a brand new hull, but
Old style.
yeah, old style, genuine Thurger boat, built by Bob. It's got all
That's
the
his very last one.
Yep, very last boat that he laid up, and all the pretty timber work all through the boat. And
Does he not want to do like a cockpit?
well, I've been trying to stir him up, and he's like, "Well, if I'm going to do a cockpit, I might as well get another one." Like,
Yeah, buy an Evercraft or something.
because this way, if this was just a nothing boat, like if it was just a boat that he bought,
Yeah.
it would be completely different. He'd probably put a lid on it. But
Yeah, not
because
something that
it's
he's
Bob
had
last,
from new and
him and his dad have done a fair bit of work and spent a lot of time and money on it.
Yeah.
And it's Bob's last race boat.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's where it will stay.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I can understand that. As much as I stir him up.
Has his uncle still got that center steer boat?
I think Jason's got it now. I don't know if he owns it. Him and Darren have got it in their possession, as far as I know.
That'd be pretty easy to bang a cockpit
That's
in.
exactly what I've been saying.
It's
But
pretty
yeah, look,
sort of
it
lends itself nicely to that.
yeah. So I think that's probably what's going through his head as well. But obviously, in time, things change. So
Yeah.
we'll see what ends up happening. But I just hope that he can get his butt in the water, and I'll be helping push him out.
He's got to bring a boat round to my house soon on the truck.
Yeah, I heard you've got some work to do.
Yeah, I've got to go meet the guy on Thursday just to confirm colours and whatnot. And then, yeah, Jason will bring it round to my place on the tilt tray and we'll get that all painted up so it looks pretty.
More race boats getting prettied.
No, it's not a race boat.
Oh, okay.
It could be. It's a type of race boat, I suppose, but they race to fishing spots.
Oh, yeah, bass boat.
Yeah, it's a bass boat.
Yeah, just as expensive as a race boat.
Yeah.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
About $100,000 normally.
Shit. How'd you go, Mick?
Yeah, like I said, I didn't do much. Friday, I actually had to go to work. Normally I work Fridays, but I'm just sort of working at home, so which is why I was late cooking yous all dinner. But Saturday I was a bit dusty.
Yeah.
I'd had a
I'll
few
admit
drinks.
I
And I
was.
didn't want to get up Saturday. I didn't want to do much. Then I was like, oh, better. So yeah, I got up and I painted a boat that was at home. It's pretty much finished now. He'll be, by the time everyone's listening to this, it would have been collected. So yeah, that was pretty much my weekend. I tidied up my shed a little bit. My boat's ready to run, but now the river's not ready for me to put it in.
Yeah.
So that's a downside. But as soon as the river clears up a bit, we'll put it in and go for a test. But no, that's it. Bit of a boring week.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I didn't do a lot apart from your house, and then I went and did swimming lessons.
Don't you know how to swim?
No, apparently I don't. No, I went and did swimming lessons with Ava for the first one.
Oh, yeah, right.
That was, yeah.
I was going to say, fucking hell, if you don't know how to swim by fucking 40, you got a problem. I can't believe there's only people around that don't know how to swim.
Oh, it's heaps of people that don't know how to swim.
It's second nature for us.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
I don't want to say I'm 100% sure, but I'm 99% sure I've never had swimming lessons in my life.
I don't reckon I ever did either.
Just work it out.
And it's, yeah.
I just had the pool at Nan's.
Yeah, just,
Yeah, I don't have any memory of going swimming lessons.
yeah, I only had a pool at me nan's. That's all I sort of remember. Swimming around the lake a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, when you're going out in ski boats and whatever.
Probably wasn't that big of a thing back then.
No, maybe
Like,
not.
Ava's only, I don't know, 4.5 months old or something like that.
Yeah.
And there was a few months older than her, but like they just lay there and float. Like,
Yeah, that's mostly
it's like,
what it
it's
is.
just getting familiar with the water. Fuck, she loves the water anyway.
Yeah.
She doesn't need, like, just wasted money as far as I'm concerned. It was like, when we were doing it, I was like, I could be doing this.
Yeah.
We're not doing anything. Just floating around.
The difference is if you actually pay someone to go and have the lesson, you will actually get in the water. Otherwise, you probably won't.
Yeah, probably not.
Nothing would happen.
Well,
Like
the pool was warm.
You wouldn't have got in the water this weekend because it would have been too fucking cold.
Well, it's an indoor pool and it was 32 degrees.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You're at a place where you've paid to do it. Where if you weren't paying to do it, you wouldn't get access to that, so you wouldn't be able to.
You'd be waiting until summertime. And
Yeah, it
But
definitely helps, but yeah, it is a bit of money.
other than that, that's all I did. So, but yeah.
Before we go, next thing, I wanted to congratulate Mitch for Mitch Williams with the 100 Mile an Hour Club.
Yeah,
getting back on the horse and throwing out another podcast.
yeah, that's
I
pretty
enjoyed
sick.
watching
Alright.
that on Friday. Listening to that on Friday. It was really good to hear him getting back out again.
Yeah, if you over our podcast, go and have a listen to Mitch's.
His voice probably sounds better.
Yeah, he had a chat to a ski racer.
Yeah, Daniel Galea.
Yeah.
No, it was a good chat.
He
I
won,
enjoyed that.
won the
Mildura 100.
Mildura 100. That's it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we'll get into a bit of sport.
Meh, fucking meow.
I don't know if I've got to push that button. We'll start off with our fuck up of a round of our big hitter comp. We haven't said much about that lately, but
Oh yeah, yeah. We said last week or the week before that we all got out.
oh,
and
that's right. We
started
did two
again.
in race one. Yeah,
Yeah, Reese won this one, so we all started again, and every single one of us got out first round. So
so we're starting again.
Joel's curse is real. Joel still gets out first round, but just so happens everyone else did this week as well. But there were some dumbasses that tipped the same team as Joel, so they were automatically out before they even started. At least the rest of us picked something different,
And then you got race that picks 4 teams until he decides.
and all 4 of those teams lost.
Yeah, she said, well, I didn't pick a one right one anyway all weekend.
Yeah, neither did I. I was when you tipped the Sharks, I was really keen to tip the Roosters, and I thought, nah, the Sharks will probably win, and I nearly did because I thought it's worth the $50 to lose, because if I do win that, it'll just look so funny getting out again first round and taking everyone else out with you. I thought it's worth $50 to lose, but I didn't do it because I got scared.
So we're starting again, double
Yeah.
up. Let's
Start again this week. So the kitty stays in there now
What
because no one actually won.
How many's in there? Was 16 of us?
It's 18 of
18 of us, is there?
Yeah.
So yeah, so $1,800 this round.
Yeah, that'd be fun. As you're listening, you would have already known the results for State of Origin, but as we're recording, we're about to watch the Blues smash the Maroons.
Yeah, I reckon.
So get that up, yeah.
Rightio, boys. We've got Jay Milligan. I'm going to try and give him a call.
It's ringing.
Sounds very professional.
How you going, mate?
How you going, mate?
Good, yourself?
Right.
We're
You're
good-
live
we're
on
good,
the
Jay.
High Speed Garage.
How you all going?
Good.
How are you
That's
going?
good.
It's more how you
Oh.
go, man.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week, that's for sure.
I saw you had a fair bit of mud end up in the pit area. What height did you actually get up to in there? So people know the Taree area.
For those who don't know, I guess it went up to the top level of the rowing club, probably about a metre and a half through the top level of the rowing club, which is the second story. Like, you're probably looking at 7-8 metres at least.
Yeah, right. That's pretty.
It
pretty up
was
there.
basically in the KFC car park, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Far out.
You poor buggers.
That's a long way up. Same as the Sailors. Sailors
Yeah.
would have been a metre and a half through the top level.
Yeah, you can see a few inches just at the top of the door. That was it.
Yeah, right.
Did
There's
it
a
come
fair
up
bit of
fast?
money there.
It come up really quick. Yeah, that's what got a lot of people up this way. Pretty much overnight and wake up in the morning and can't get out of home and stuck at where I live at Cundletown, which is 7-8 minutes out of Taree near the airport. And we were cut off the highway and even into town, so we were just stuck here, low food, but we got through it.
Especially if you're not ready for the floodwaters to come up. You're not even stocking up on food, are you?
No, like we knew we were going to get something, but we didn't think it'd be as bad as what it was.
Is that sort of the worst
we
one
just-
that's been in the area for a while?
That's the record, yeah.
Yeah.
It used to be, I think the record was in 2021, and it was 5.99 metres. This one went 6.5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
A couple of your sponsors and some parts of the crew that are up at the Taree Club, they've had a fair bit of damage to their stuff as well, haven't they?
Yeah, so I tried to touch base with you guys just to as soon as I could get into town, so we could have a look. Because on the Tuesday it started, I was still stuck at work, and a few of the guys were able to get to our clubhouse, which is the junior sailing club next to the rowing club. And it was waist deep already before lunchtime, and they managed to get a lot of stuff out. But they put it upstairs in the junior club because it's never been up there before. But when we finally got in to have a look, everything was gone. The only things salvageable for our club were some buoys, stern buoys, and just a few little things. Other than that, we lost everything.
That sucks, eh?
Yeah, wow.
That's really disappointing to hear.
Yeah, and I sent just a text out to all our members, just if anyone could help for the cleanup. And like roads were still blocked. We lost a few of the guys in our club have lost everything, houses, cars, just they've lost everything, which is really hard to take. You know, you can't get there to help them clean up or help in any way because you're stuck. So my heart goes out to those guys that were in our club. And some people also lost their house and their businesses. So it's very hard. And yeah, I went and helped out with some major sponsors that sponsor us, like Manning River Marine. They lost pretty much their whole shop, went under. It'll be another 2 weeks before we can get sort of on top of their place. Same with Salos. They lost everything. So it's just a big rebuild from there.
All right.
Yeah, it's crazy how high it got. No one thinking about it's getting that high.
Yeah, when you actually look at
the thing that got me was I was watching some River Heights when it was all happening, and we've got a bridge sort of halfway up the river. It's called Killawarra Bridge. It's probably 25, 30 metres above the water, and the water started lapping that bridge. So that's when I knew we were in trouble.
Yeah, right.
Did the water get over the actual Taree Bridge as you're coming in?
No, it was probably half a metre under.
Okay. There's a fair bit of distance underneath that. That's bloody high.
Yeah,
it
come
spreads
right up.
The river also is low and spreads right out.
Quite wide there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And we're
same
lucky
Spencer.
because our river's only one or two in the southern hemisphere that's got two entrances.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We can get that water out, but we've also got a big catchment. So
Yeah.
sort of,
That's really disappointing to hear, Jay. Yeah, we're all thinking of you guys up there, and the Raymond Terrace Club. They've had a fair bit of damage in their park as well.
Yeah, park.
Yeah.
It's just mud in the park. It's nothing.
It wasn't that bad.
Nothing they haven't seen before.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It wasn't.
Yeah,
massive
Raymond
there.
Terrace don't have a clubhouse or anything that down on the water either.
Everything's at someone else's house.
Yeah.
So seeing Taree getting flogged like that, yeah, we're really thinking of you guys, and that's really shit.
yeah, thank you. It's hard times up here, you know, but we all get together and we get through it, and you know, it's the spirit of the Aussies. So you know, looking forward, we'll be right. Just want to get some racing back as soon as we can and enjoy it.
Yep.
That's it. Start making money again, basically.
Yeah, that's it. Like, I think this one will take a while for the town. Just yesterday, there was 500 homes that were classed as uninhabitable.
Yeah, right.
So,
Wow.
500. All right.
yeah, just in one day. My cousin was one of them. They just come and slapped the sticker on and said, "This place is uninhabitable. Go find somewhere else to
Shit.
sleep."
That's-
Yeah, lost everything. So.
Do they have anything set up around there for people that don't have homes to go back to?
Not really. They weren't expecting it to be like this. So they've got a lot of emergency accommodation and stuff happening now. They're running lots of halls and stuff for people to sleep in, food, clothing. Yeah, it's just crazy. And it was really hard because we had no one here. Like they said they were sending the army. I think they only turned up yesterday. And by then, pretty much
It's all
businesses.
on its way down by then.
Yeah, like everyone was already stripping stuff out and just throwing everything to the curbside. So the main street's still shut. They've got no power, and it's been shut since last week. So
All right, that's a long time with no power.
yeah, still cleaning up. Just crazy the amount of water we had along the main street. So if you head towards Cunnelltown, so if you come from the boat ramp and head towards KFC and turn right, there's a car yard to the right. The water went straight in all the way up to there from Browns
wow.
Creek.
Yeah, right. Shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in between there. And
Yeah. Yeah, the creek there, all through there, the motorbike shop, they completely lost everything. And being on the water, they have no insurance. It's $85,000 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they lost a lot of gear. Thankfully, they got all the bikes out, but all the parts and everything else was gone.
Yeah.
How'd everything go out in the Wingham area where Ryan McIntosh lives?
Yeah, they're just as bad. They got really devastated. They actually lost one of their bridges, so there's only one way in sort of for them at the moment. They lost their shopping centre at Coles there. That's still not open.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was a lot of damage down around that way where Ryan lives. Yeah, that would be. I know his father-in-law lost everything, Kevin McGrath.
Yeah, okay.
For McGrath's Meats, another sponsor.
Wow.
Yeah, his house and everything went under, and cars and whatever.
Yeah, wow.
No good.
Yeah, lots of devastation, and it's just affected so many people. But we just all got to get together and help each other out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully next time you got a meeting on, there can be plenty of boats there helping support you guys.
Yeah, thanks. We really appreciate it. We just want people to get out and have some fun in their boats. Want to enjoy it and enjoy the river because our river's underutilised, I think.
Yep. Turn the back on the devastation and look towards the race and have some fun.
Yeah, that's it. So as soon as I can get on the water and have a look, I want to make sure that we can plot our course and just check it to make sure there's nothing there before we do anything.
Yeah, that's it. You have to get some good sounders out there and run some depths and whatnot,
Yeah.
see if there's nothing changed. I know the Hawks was
like,
bad for changing like that when the flood comes through.
Yeah, like our southern end looks like it's probably 200 metres out, shorter.
Yeah, right.
Because it's filtered up pretty bad down that end apparently. So we'll get out and have a look.
Yep. Yeah, we are.
Rightio. Well, we'll
Thanks for taking the call.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. You guys are welcome. Thanks for having us.
We'll
Yep,
push it
we're
out
thinking
there
of
and
you
see if
guys.
we can get you any help up there as well.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
All right. Have a good night, Jay.
All right. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, guys.
See you
All right,
later.
see ya.
Bye.
Yeah, that's some devastation up there, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
that's-
know it was. I knew it was bad, but like for people to be, like people that we know.
You don't
They've lost
realise how
everything they've
bad
got.
any of these things are until you actually sort of see it yourself, or you speak to someone that's right in the zone. Like all the stuff that you see on the news, you just think, oh yeah, it's a bit of water.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you think, oh well, yeah, that's horrible seeing someone lose their house.
Yeah.
But then you know the people that you go to Taree and they're known people, like you know them well, and to know that they've lost their family their family home as well, it's bloody horrible.
You don't understand the magnitude of a flood until you see it firsthand or know the area and go, fuck, the water was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's a whole heap
Like
of water.
round here, when one happens here, because obviously Darwin gets flooded as well, and they get sort of stuck in there. They only know sort of what it looks like around that area. They've got no idea where the water comes from Windsor. And when you start explaining to them like all the little areas that they probably just look at Windsor Bridge because that's where the media
TV's
go
showing.
to. But you tell them the Leeds Club down here, the footy field's full of water, the car park's full of water. You can't drive to it. They're like, holy shit. Yeah. Unless you
There's
actually
Joel
see
using
it.
his canoe.
It's happening. It comes to the end of my street, the biggest one.
Yeah.
That's a lot of water, man.
Yeah.
And it just all sits in those low-lying areas for ages until it
that's
gets
it.
away getting out.
Well, this side, because it is it's like half a levee sort of thing, the road, It just comes up the drain.
Yeah.
That's why it gets this way.
So the main road doesn't fill up, but everything on this side of
Yep.
it does. Yeah.
Yep. So all the main people can move around, but all the people in that
Yeah.
area just
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh, hopefully we can support Taree, or everyone can support Taree,
Yeah, get up there, help them out.
and do something next time they got a race meeting on. Fucking
If we've got anyone that wants to sponsor or something like that to help them out as well,
all that, yeah.
let
Send
us
somebody
know
up there.
and we'll put you in touch with the right people.
So that was Jay Milligan. He's the Commodore of the Taree Powerboat Club. We'll jump across to F1 at Monaco. I couldn't be bothered talking about the race, but qualifying was pretty good to watch.
Why is the race boring?
Oh, well,
Follow the leader.
yeah, Lando Norris, he got pole. Charles Leclerc got second. Oscar Piastri got third. This is in qualifying. Kimi Antonelli binned it. He turned his thing into a canoe. coming to.
I love it when you say they canoed it.
Well, it sort of makes sense. Like,
Yeah, it does, because when you think about it, when an Indy car or an F1 car, like any open wheel car, when they crash, it rips the wheels and the whole outsides of the car off, and then they're pretty much left sitting in a canoe.
might as well be a boat.
Photoshop a paddle in there, and
Yeah.
away we go. Or they're probably up shit creek without a paddle.
Well, I think they're in the shit when they get back to the pits. So Kimi comes. If anyone's sort of seen a bit of the video from Monaco, it's probably the flashiest racetrack in the world,
Yeah.
where there's so many people with money and like massive boats everywhere, and there's shit everywhere. But they actually race through a tunnel, like a road tunnel.
Yeah.
And as they come out, you go from dark to really bright. The sun's pretty much coming straight on their face. So Kimi Antonelli in qualifying, he's come through the tunnel flat out, and as that's sort of blinded him as he's come back out again, he's just missed the apex. As he's
So it's a big
into the
chicane
next
after it,
corner.
isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just missed the apex and just clipped it, and it just pushed him into the barrier on the other side.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And those things, as soon as you touch the barrier,
yeah,
with
it's
the
all
wheels,
over.
it just rips the thing up,
Yeah.
rips the wheel off. So yeah,
I have
And-
seen, in saying that, I've seen a few things today about it. They're trying to, models, so to speak, saying lengthen that bit of the track as you come out of the tunnel and then put the chicane later.
that's right. Yeah,
But-
they're talking.
But
about
that's
it.
into the, I think it encroaches on the marina.
Yeah.
Or whatever where they back the boats in there.
There's a fair bit of coin there.
Oh, yeah. It's a fair few $1 million just to put a boat there.
Yeah,
I think it's $1 million to park a boat there.
Oh, I'd love to have the money to be thrown about there. So that was Monaco, and
I heard some some of the drivers I was just reading on Facebook and whatever, how they're going to try and spice it up, and I think it was George Russell. He said everyone needs a button on their steering wheel that at one point over the weekend they can turn the sprinklers onto the track and just make it wet. That could either be in,
That'd be wild.
it could be in qualifying, in practice, in the race, whenever you feel like doing it, but you only can do it once.
talking about canoes.
We're going to have 7.
And Max Verstappen's talking about making it like Mario Kart, where they can throw out bananas or some sprinkles or something.
It has to be something because I got up early. The race, no, it was late, so it was. I went to bed and got up at about 11:30, and I think I just watched the flag drop. Leclerc and Lando got into the first corner. Lando won the first corner, and that was it. That was race over pretty much. They went through the 2 pit stops that they made for the race, and
Yeah, unless you stuff up a pit stop, sort of.
yeah, that was
That's it.
where you start is where you finish, unless you stuff it. Talking about stuffing things in the wall, Scotty McLaughlin
That was a fuck up knife, wasn't it?
created another canoe in the Indy 500. I got up, so I watched that. I watched the Monaco Formula 1 and then set the alarm for, I think it was 3:30 in the morning. And I'd sort of missed the start, and I thought, I'll just sort of scan back a little bit. And friggin' notifications on my phone come up. McLaughlin heartbreak, and I'm like, what the? Before the flag dropped,
It was warm-up
he's
laps.
warming his tyres up on the sort of formation laps, and
Was it wet?
No.
it was freezing cold.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they're all warming their tyres up, and you can see. So,
He's just stabbed it right in the wrong spot.
Yep, just sort of flicking it left and right. In a supercar, it'd be perfectly fine, but he's been driving IndyCar for 5 years now. I would have thought that'd be out of him, but I don't. Look, I'm not a driver at all, so I don't know. That could be what they all do, and it's just I've seen that clip. But he's done it on the start-finish straight. So as he's like skidded the ass out and pointed straight towards the pit lane, and you can see all the Pennzoil bright yellow race suits watching him.
Yeah, he hit pit wall, then
Hit
into
pit
the
wall.
exit of pit
Yep.
lane.
He's stopped on the exit of pit lane. Really disappointing to watch.
Yes,
the-
fast too.
It was very fast. I thought that was
How's that
pretty
one
good.
like little muck up like that? You just center the wall and the car's like a bin job.
Yep. It's like it turns 2 weeks of practice and qualifying. As we said last week, it was like 9 practice sessions, 2 days of qualifying, and then Bennett on the start. He was devastated, man.
Yeah,
Like
you
that-
could see it in the
Yep.
videos.
Well,
He
you would be, wouldn't you?
Yep.
You just worked your ass off for a couple of weeks and then don't even get to start.
Yep.
And then got to be professional and do an interview.
Yeah, and then dealt with all the scandal we spoke about last week. That would have been pretty heavy on his mind too, which could have been the reason why he'd made that such a mistake.
Yeah, it wasn't on him, but in his
It wasn't,
car.
but it was also on his team though.
Maybe they siliconed up his one and he wasn't ready for it and it just sideways.
But it was funny after
That's
they
how
got
much
that done.
aero works.
Yeah. After they got that done, they were just as fast the next day. Like the next day they hit the track.
Yeah.
Like it didn't make a difference to them.
Yeah.
It was just supposedly Delara had been doing a heap of that stuff, and a lot of other people in the pit straight had, like in the pits had they'd sort of seen it too, and they've sort of knocked it on and knocked their head when they found out about the problems. So you don't know what happened. We're not there in the pits, but yeah, pretty shit. Alex Palou won. There was a pretty good battle between him and Marcus Ericsson for the finish. They had a couple of back markers in front of him, and Palou was saving fuel, sitting behind Marcus Ericsson. He didn't have to save fuel at all. He was right to go to the end flat out. So Marcus Ericsson thought that Alex Palou, because he was struggling for fuel a bit, he had to save. He thought that Alex was going to stay behind him and just fuel save, but
It finished under safety car.
It's finished under safety car, but it was like just before they were finished.
Yeah.
But Marcus Ericsson thought that he was gonna be safe for another couple of laps, and Alex Palou just did Alex Palou shit. Like he's just a friggin' weapon.
Bye-bye.
He's the best in the field at the moment, and just passed him and then sat behind the back markers and saved his fuel there.
Yeah.
So instead of chilling out behind, he's just
Done the same thing,
Yeah.
but in a different position.
And David Malukas got third, with Marcus Ericsson crossing the line in second. He got done by disqualification alongside Kyle Kirkwood and Callum Ilott. Now,
what did he do?
so Kyle Kirkwood finished sixth. He was sent to the back as well. It was considered modifications to the EMS system, which is their hybrid thing.
Yep.
They run a battery system, and the mounting points on those were modified. I don't know in what way. I'm obviously not in the pits, but modified in a way for IndyCar to knock them back. And they said that it was determined these changes could provide enhanced aerodynamic efficiency. But it's quite funny how we haven't heard any of it. It's been kept pretty quiet, but the Penske scandal was massive.
Is that the same as the F1 when they've DRS?
DRS? Well, no. So
No.
IndyCar
It's a hybrid
only
thing.
uses a hybrid battery, which assists the rear drive.
Yeah.
So where's the aero working?
No,
where they
it's the mounting point that they modified, which affected the aero.
So it's the way they've mounted the
It's the
hybrid
way- yeah.
system.
Ah,
into the-
It's the way
right.
the air runs over the car when
Yeah.
they've moved something.
Yeah, okay.
Obviously, would have helped them a bit.
Yeah.
Callum Ilott got done as well. He was an M plate modification on the front wing assembly. It's just a bit annoying that's been pretty quiet, but Penske got dragged over the coals. I guess when you're the top dogs, I think they're just
Can't half
gonna.
tell you're a
yeah.
Penske fan.
Oh, I'm a Scott fan, but it's more annoying that it's such a big scandal one week and then the same shit, which is realistically, I'd sort of say that's worse.
Yeah.
It gets sort of kept quiet.
Yeah.
St George ran their they had an event at Sunday.
Yes.
So they had the Graham Bailey, which is, I think it's like a King of the River, like the top dogs sort of race. Darryl Woods in endgame, he got first. Brian Kilpatrick, who was running, they're running the Melody boat, he had a big snail hanging off the back of his engine. I've seen photos of that.
I did see photos of that.
Just curiosity, seeing that. That's a 105 boat.
Endgame.
Mm.
I'm wondering, I don't understand that either.
That's a 105 boat against two unlimited boats. Well,
Yeah.
or an F1 boat, but Melody's an unlimited boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, LFR can be because it's got a cell in it, but
LFR's Greg Lambert.
yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that unless they have and no one sort of said anything, but that doesn't make sense either to me once you've said that, because
I didn't pick up
remember
on
now
it
you've
before
said
until
that.
I'm looking at it.
Yeah, now you said that Endgame is an open deck boat.
Well, is the Graham Bailey like the King of the River?
Well, that's what I was sort of getting at the idea.
For some reason, something in my head's telling me that it's not.
I think it's just a race, but it's still an unlimited boat in there.
Yeah.
So it's got to be an unlimited race.
Yeah, for some reason I'm thinking it's something like
An invitational or something like that.
like a handicap style.
If it's a handicap style race, I think you can.
I'm not 100%
mix.
sure, but there's
Actually,
there's
saying
something in my
that,
head that's telling me that it's
I
something
do
along those
remember-
lines.
I do remember the program was a lot of handicaps.
I'm
Or
running
it's-
off
or it's
information
just
I've been
the-
given.
Yeah, or it's just the quickest time of the weekend or something like that. Maybe I'm not. Yeah, don't know.
Yeah, so I contacted Mitch Perry from the St George Motorboat Club and asked for a couple of bits of information, and he's thrown that. So maybe it is a handicap. They've written down the overall day winner as well, which I'm guessing that's the most amount of points that everyone's out of everyone of the classes. I'm guessing.
Yeah, well, otherwise you'd be in the same issue.
Same
If
problem.
that was a race, you'd have the same issue with them
So-
them boats there.
So first place was Matty Peck with Octane Racing. That's a pretty good looking race
Yeah,
boat.
the Pecky.
That's
White and
just
orange.
just going back. I just looked it up. That was the last two races of the day. Bailey Division B, Bailey Division A.
Could it be?
So it might be like
But they've got listed
Times between the
handicaps,
two.
scratch races, and all the other stuff as well.
it might be like what we did a couple of years ago when I was running Quick Trip, we didn't let open deck boats run with sailboats. So at Windsor they ran a Trojan race, and the open deck boats went out in one heat and the sailboats went out in the other heat, and then they just looked at the times, and the fastest times were the winners.
Yeah, right. I
Sorta-
don't remember that.
It sort of suited me because I was pretty quick on my own, and I didn't have to race against the sailboat, so I ended up second in that. And the guy that beat me was Chris Whalen in Sacrifice.
Who?
Yeah, so just a
Who was
nobody.
that?
Chris Whalen.
I haven't heard of him.
I'm sure he looks after your show.
No, big fan of Chris.
I was really happy with that weekend racing. It sticks out in my brain.
Where was that at?
Windsor. I only had a 5 litre, and I had the third fastest race time of the whole weekend. The only two blokes that beat me were Chris Whalen and Darryl Quinn in Bad Influence.
Yeah, right.
It's quicker than every other blown boat and quicker than every other 6 litre.
Shows how beneficial corner speed can be for a race boat.
And being on my own.
On your own
I
as
didn't
well,
have to
yeah.
race any of them.
Yeah, but
Racing them would have been totally different. They would have smoked me if I had to race against them.
that little boat was on rails, but
Yeah. I love that boat.
so I've just gotten information from Mitch. He said fastest 6 boats of the day. So it's an APBA point score system used, but it must be,
still got to be a race.
well, it depends. It could just be put down as the fastest 6 boats.
Yeah.
That gets you your podium.
Well, maybe.
That might be what it's awarded on. And then the overall day winner will be your King of the River sort of style thing, which is your most points awarded over the day.
Yeah, well, that's got 2 races as it shows, so don't know.
Yeah, one of them was probably your open decks and one of them your cockpit boats or something. No, that's what I would assume.
Yep, so we got in first, Matty Peck with the Octane Racing. In second, we've got Brian Kilpatrick with a Melody boat. And in third, we've got Josh Heather with the Only Force boat. I like that name.
Only Force.
Only Force.
They're a good boat, then.
So St George's next race meeting, next major, I think they've got a club day in between. Their next major is the 19th, 20th of July, and they're advertising $50,000 in prize money.
Yeah, if you don't get there, you're mad.
Yeah, so I think that'll be the next major.
They
be
regularly
on.
have sort of
Yeah,
big prize money like that.
it's only 25 to 50 each time, mate, most of it.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I'd love to go and support a St George. I just haven't had a boat going at
It
the
was a
time.
pretty good weekend of motorsport watching on the TV, eh? Like over Sunday night.
Yeah.
The MotoGP was on, but I didn't stay up late enough to watch that. I did watch the Moto2 though before I went to sleep because it was on sort of early enough, which was pretty sweet because the Aussie guy finally got a win in Moto2.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
He got I think his first podium was last year in Australia. So last year at Phillip Island was his first podium.
That was Senna Agius?
Yeah. Yeah, he's from around here, down like Campbelltown way.
Yeah, copy.
Yeah, that's where he's originally from.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I try after watching him race all of last year. I liked his original helmet, but when he got when he raced in Australia last year, he had his home helmet on, and I loved it. As soon as I seen it, I tried buying one, but he doesn't have. It's probably not known enough, I suppose, to have
Sell
replica
replicas.
helmets for sale.
Yeah.
But if there was a replica one, I 100% would have bought that. Had like the kangaroo on the side. It was red
Ah,
and
man.
blue and white.
Oh, yeah, nice. That'll be sick.
Yeah, it was a nice looking helmet. So if you listen, Senna, I'm pretty sure you don't, but if you do, make some fucking replica helmets. Or if someone that knows him, tell him to make a replica helmet.
Or someone that
Or
can
just-
make a replica helmet.
Just one for me.
Hooks up.
Just one for me will do.
This episode is brought to you by Riverstone Radiators and Fabrication in Walker Street, South Windsor, specialising in automotive plant and transport cooling solutions. They can repair copper, brass and alloy radiators and intercoolers. Contact the office on 02 9627 4657. Local pickup and delivery service available to trade customers.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll get into some guest questions because we've got a couple this week.
Oh, yeah.
We've had a couple of questions from Zach Atkins. So I'll get into his first one's not really a question, but
This isn't a question, but fuck Lando Norris up Piastri. I'm upset that Lando won tonight, but what can you do about it?
Well, we're all upset that Piastri gets beat, I suppose. Sounds like he's at the pub.
he's in Adelaide. Non-refundable flights.
Yeah.
Plenty of noise going on.
Oh, yeah.
I think if Piastri's bad day is a third, I reckon that's pretty bloody good.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, it is his next one.
Righto, while I'm on a tangent, I'll give you guys another, not a question, but a conversation starter for next week about the whole 3 boat lengths before you can kind of close the door on someone. So I did a bit of rough math on it after Winter Spec last year. with the Adam Brennan and I think Chris Palmer incident, fit out at 200k an hour with a 18-foot boat. I think it worked out to be 3 boat lengths is approximately 0.35 of a second. Do you think maybe the 3 boat lengths is not enough anymore while boats are doing speeds like that? Or what do you guys think?
Well,
Sounds like he's moved from the pub to the aircon vents. That's a good question, Zach.
Thank you very much for calling him in too.
Yeah, ringing
still
him in.
one more
Awesome.
after that.
Oh, he's got another one. Okay.
Get another one.
All right, well, we'll get into that one. Break that one down.
Yeah, so break this one down.
So, do we want to use the incident that he's referring to as an example? I suppose we can.
You may as
'cause
well.
He did.
Well, we all know
Yeah.
it.
So, I understand where he's coming from. The 3 boat lengths is bugger all time wise. But if 2 boats are doing that same speed, it's not really that big of a deal. 3 boat lengths is going to stay at 3 boat lengths, if you know what I mean.
You're not catching a slower boat.
It's like when you're driving down the highway in your car and you're doing 110, you can pull in behind another car with one car length, still doing 110, and nothing happens.
really happens.
It's when the cornering entry speed is different, which is what happens in those kind of races.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed racing.
Yeah, with tunnel boats versus log boats. So the tunnel boats closing speed into the corner is a shitload faster than the blown boats.
That's their edge. The tunnel boat's
Yeah.
edge.
That's where they get it. So that's where the problem comes in, and everyone can sort of have their own opinion on that. But I think 3 boat lengths is enough. That's just my personal opinion. If someone wanted to make it 4, 5, I probably wouldn't argue. But I think you'll find if you make it big, like 4 or 5 boat lengths,
We're not going to have any
As
races.
it turns into follow the leader.
Yeah.
well, I reckon if you,
More
if
than
you,
what it
do,
already
if you
is.
do pass someone with that and you think they're going to come back, you'll find that they'll just go whack and straight over instead of just leaning a little bit to hopefully you lift out of it. Like if it's 3 boat lengths,
That's true.
you might go, oh, is that 3? Or it's a bit close. I might wait a little bit before I move right over, or I'll just push them a little bit. Where if you start extending it, so you've got to have that big distance, you probably find people will just go, yeah, that's far enough, and just go bang straight over. So it's less chance of you don't really see it coming, I suppose. Yeah. I mean, people can do that now. I just think it would happen a little less
with the bigger distance.
With the smaller distance.
With the smaller distance, you think you'll have less accidents.
Yeah, because I think you'll see. I don't think people would actually just go whack and change lanes. They might lean on you a little bit to say, look, I'm going to change lanes because I'm about to get me 3rd boat length. Where I think if you got to get to 4 or 5, I don't think they'd lean as much. They get to sort of 4 and then just go bam and take the lane. And if that happens, like I said, if it's in a straight line, both boats are doing the same speed, it doesn't really matter. You might get a bit of a hose down or whatnot, but it's not. You're not going to catch the boat in front of you and run into them unless they lift off. In the case of Cracker versus Outlaw, that happened because Outlaw had more than enough boat lengths to do what he did
at the time that he'd moved.
At the time that he moved, but the problem was because he'd backed off of the corner, say 100 meters out, Adam was only going to back off 30 meters out. So as soon as he's changed lanes, that's when the distance is closed straight up.
Yeah.
So, and I spoke to Adam a bit about that. I sort of told him that I thought it was a bad read on his behalf, and he wasn't too happy with me comment. But I think
it also got a damaged boat too.
Yeah, and it was pretty damaged. But I think after he sort of chilled out a little bit, he probably realised he probably could have done something a bit different, but maybe he wouldn't have.
But the other party probably, like Chris probably knew what was coming. So he probably moved when he could.
Yeah, well, see that to me that's smart driving.
That's
comes down to experience.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
that-
racing. That's what
Adam
it
hasn't
is.
had a lot of inboard versus outboard experience either, which, probably was a bit of a contributor to that, because he did tell me that, he's learning more and more every time he races inboard. So,
And Christ, that boat's fast.
oh, yeah.
For that little tunnel boat,
Yeah.
and that is moving.
They all
hard.
are. They're all them outboard tunnel boats are fast, and it pisses me off.
Because they're going to kick your ass.
Not me. I make my boat pretty wide.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into these.
Show us his last question.
These next one. It's a two-parter.
Two-parter.
Couple weeks behind schedule, but back on the topic of the cell test a few weeks ago, I've always done normal cell tests the way you're meant to go, but then gone for a second or third time around and gone no air. And if you can't go do it without air for 20 odd seconds, it's maybe an issue. Expect the worst and hope for the best, kind of thing. So the final bit of that is, should people be expected to do a cell test also without air to prove the fact they can escape without air in the worst case scenario?
I don't think it's a bad thing to do it without air, which is what we all done.
First off, before we get too into it, let's just make it clear that it's not a cell test. It's a cell orientation,
Yeah,
and we can't call it a test because we're not licensed scuba instructors. So we can't call it a test. And basically, the point of those orientations is to get back when I first started doing this, I used to think, we should be doing them more often. We should be doing them all the time. We should all be using our own gear and all the rest of it, which I still think, there's some merit to some of that. But I think the whole cell test thing's just a waste of time.
It's better than not doing it at all.
I think the
I
only
don't know.
good thing that comes out of it is testing your mask.
That's if you use your own,
Yes, you're right.
which you're supposed to, but a lot of people don't.
No.
And they all whinge and complain about it, and they'll use someone else's mask that's not even the same as theirs.
Yeah.
But I just think,
See-
every single boat is probably different to what we're sitting in there.
Yeah.
The cell you're sitting in is different to most people's cells that they're racing. The lid opens differently. The steering wheel's further away. The belt systems could be different. If you've got a rotary belt system compared to a lever action belt system, there's lots of things that are different. So I think you just got to be familiar with your own boat, and because that's what it is. It's not, you can't necessarily fail an orientation.
No, you can't.
You can just rock up there and go, yeah, I'm familiar, I'm good. And who are we to say, well, no, you're not?
But when you get stuck and don't get out,
Well, that's in that cockpit with that scenario.
yeah, I suppose.
I don't know that. I know my own one. On his question though, that like doing it with no air, I don't mind that idea.
Well, I think going back to whether a cell test is a cell orientation is relevant or not. I think that the most memorable orientation, I just call them tests, but the most recognisable one in my brain is when I went over, my mask leaked, which my helmet leaked, filled my helmet up with water straight away, and instead of going to what I would normally do, because I'd never dealt with it, I just panicked and just tried to rip my belt off. And instead, all I had to do was remember, just stop and purge my regulator, and it would have been fine. But because I just went straight into panic mode, I panicked and I just wasted my time. It was a complete waste of that orientation. But I can't really call it a waste of my time, because now in the back of my head, every time I go down there, I'm ready. What happened last time or what happened at that event reminds me, when you go upside down, the first thing you do before you do anything is make sure you got air on board, make sure it's working, and if it's not, be ready to purge before you even touch your belts.
In saying that, before you go too far, if you're upside down and you purge that mask, that doesn't necessarily empty all the water out of it.
No,
But
I
it's at
was
least
going to
gonna
say,
give
if
Because you're upside down.
But it's at least going to give you a fair bit of air into that helmet.
Maybe,
you'll have to
maybe
hang
not.
on to it. in your scenario, you'll have to hang on to that for 5 seconds.
Whether it is, whatever it is, you've got to do something.
And when you let it go, if it's bad, it'll fill straight back up with water.
Yeah, but you've got to be ready for it. That's what.
100%. But
Yeah.
in you saying that, I just had to purge it on sweet. You have to hang on to it while it's just constantly pumping air in.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll just fill up with water again.
I've seen some people do it and their mask leaks, and if they go in the right way up, they've got no idea that mask leaks.
Yeah.
That's right.
The last
if it
one
doesn't sit on your nose properly, and you go in underwater, you can sit there all day with
the air pressure holds it out.
because the air's coming out up the top. As soon as you turn upside down, the air don't come out there no more, and water wants to come in, and it fills up.
Yep.
So that's the same thing when you're purging. So when you're purging, if you're upside down, the water will stay in the top of that mask, and it won't purge out.
I wonder what you could get around it with.
You can't. You just got to have it sealed.
Yeah, got to seal it.
Or you just hold the purge
Yeah, I
button.
worked out what the problem was. It was like a crack in the visor.
Yeah, I've had issues with
Not a physical crack, like the visor wasn't sealed properly.
Yeah. I've had issues with mine as well, like my mask leaking, and I've sent it back to be repaired, and it still leaks. But that's a whole nother debacle. The person I sent it to, anyway. But yeah, I think they are good, but I think what would be better is if someone just turned around and said, "Righto, we're not doing selling orientations, but you must have a minimum scuba."
I think everyone should go and do a scuba course.
Yeah,
Makes you that much
just the smallest one. So you're
better
familiar
underwater.
with. So you just say you're familiar with breathing underwater. That's the first thing. But like Zach said, there's no guarantee your air's going to work either.
No.
But if you're familiar with your own boat, I don't see why you should be doing something that's that if that's totally different. Like the cell that we use, right? So the old one we used to use had no lid.
There's an old F1 style cockpit.
It had no lid, so there was nothing to open.
Yeah.
Literally all you had to do was once you got wet, pull your belts and swim out. But this one has a lid. There's a steering wheel on it. You don't really have to pull it off because it's that far away from you. You probably couldn't drive a boat with it that far away from you. Some people probably could. I don't like to. I like my steering wheel pretty close.
Yeah.
But if I'm doing all these cell orientations and I'm getting used to that cockpit, the way that lid opens, the way that steering wheel is, that's really making myself worse for my own boat. If I like the workhorse boat, that cell opened sideways. So if I do a shitload of cell orientations with a lid that lifts forwards, and I'm used to pulling elastics back here, when I get into a crash, that's your mind just goes to your training, and you start reaching for it, and you go, "Oh shit, hang on, that's not how my door opens."
Mm-hmm.
That's all well and good if your air works. If your air doesn't, then what?
Basically, in saying that, if they wanted to spend the money, they could modify that one or make a new one, whatever they want to do. So incorporate all the lids. So that one is a Howard cell, so it's a massive lid on top.
The lid was just an example.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying
of
about
what's
as well.
different. But yeah, that could be done, and that would solve the lid issue.
And you'd throw in belts. You got a rotary belt.
There's lots of other things in there that you can get tangled in your actual race boat. That's not in that cockpit either.
Yeah, well, comms.
There's
whole fucking
comms, wiring.
The biggest thing I think
is your seating position, how close you are to walls and stuff.
Another thing that sticks in my head is Craig Bailey going upside down at Wagga. Was an AFPGP round, and he had a Sparco rotary belt system.
Fake.
It was a knockoff.
Sparco
Sparco
I understand that, but I probably shouldn't call it a Sparco if I'm going to recognise that it was a fake. But the fact that it jammed, as much as the knockoff would be, more likely to jam, I still think that there is still a chance of all the rotary belts jamming because it's a mechanism instead of the lever style that I run. If it gets jammed, you put your hands down there and you can just pull it apart.
Yeah. I think the lever action is a better idea, but in saying that, I do like the way the rotary system works.
Pops open.
You turn that once, it stays unlocked, and every belt just falls straight out of its central position. It doesn't have to slide off.
As long as it's not jammed, it's mint.
As long as it doesn't jam. But I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100% sure, but cams have
They barred them ones.
No. There, they barred the lever actions. You can only use the cam lock.
In cars, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But there's a couple of different styles in the cam lock ones as well. I know Reese recently bought last year or whenever he bought a new set of belts, and they're the same as what they've been running overseas. So they're the rotating ones, but they spring out and fucking blow apart.
Yeah.
So they're better than just the.
I think
I normally
most,
clip the Sparko clips just fell
I
out.
think most of them do that.
Yeah, right.
Once they're unlocked, because they kind of push the because they're like they're kind of like your seatbelt. You know, your seatbelt's got the square edge and it's got the thing. They're kind of like that, but they're rounded. So as the pin drops, as you rotate and the pin drops to come out of the hole, there's another little thing pushing.
Another spring pushing it up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me thinking of Craig Bailey's stack, makes me think that I really should have a belt cutter no matter what system I've got in the boat.
Yeah.
I should have a belt cutter in that boat anyway.
I've got a belt cutter.
Yeah, I should have one.
Yeah.
And should it be on like a rope?
In your jacket, I reckon.
You reckon in the jacket?
It'd be nice if you could put on your. I had it on a cable tie, like a small cable tie, so I could just grab it. And if I yanked it hard enough, that cable tie would just break.
Yep.
The Lifeline cell suits, I think, got a pocket for them.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah,
whether I'd
it
like
could
to
be
have
a
it in
pocket. Yeah, I've got a Lifeline cell suit.
The
and it's
pocket
got
on your
like
right hand
on your
side.
leg, yeah.
I'm pretty
I always
sure
thought
that.
of a pony bottle, but I don't think a
Yeah.
pony bottle would fit in there.
Yeah, if I do have that pocket, my spare air bottle would cover that pocket anyway.
Yep.
But I
Yeah,
don't know whether I'd
yeah.
like to be trying to open a pocket to get that out.
No, it's
When
not
it's
open.
just-
It's open. So
Yeah,
it just
okay.
sort of slots in there, so you can.
Yeah, look,
Yeah,
I
just
I
grab
just
an
think
edge.
a belt
Yeah.
cutter is probably a really good idea to have in the boat anyway, in the cell.
It's a proper
Yeah.
belt cutter. It's got like a hole in it for like
The
your
loop on
finger,
it, Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
so you drag it across the belt. You don't have to hang on to it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a bit off tangent.
Look,
but
the more we talk about cell orientation, I think the better. And everyone's experiences.
I have
Yeah.
since getting that the other day. I have thought about it, and the next time they asked me to do the cell test, the cell orientation, to run it, if you don't have your own gear, you won't be getting it done.
Well, that's how it should be anyway.
Yeah, that's what the rules are, and we have been pretty lax on it.
Yeah.
But if you don't show up there with what you're running, don't bother doing it.
Yeah. But the other thing is, like, we don't know what everybody's running. We don't, we don't know everybody's boat. We don't know everybody's shit.
No, you don't.
They-
You've
they all-
got
they
half
all-
a
they
good
all
idea,
change 'em.
but that's what it'll be. Is this yours?
All they're going to say is,
yeah.
I just
Yeah.
bought a new one. This is my new one.
Yeah, well, they can say that and they can lie, but whatever. But that's what mine
Yeah.
will be. Because it's just what it's coming down to. Because the last one I did, which was
But it shouldn't be just
September.
that. It should be, you should, like, when I do mine, I do my race suit that I actually race with, my boots that I actually race with, my cell suit that I actually race with, my helmet that I actually race with, and my air mask that I actually race with. Some people just put on some shitty old overalls because you've only got to have long gear on.
Yeah.
or don't even have.
And some people don't even put shoes on.
No, I
They
haven't
just
really
run bare feet.
I haven't put shoes on.
I think it was pretty good when we did.
How many do we tip in and they go, oh shit, me fucking mask don't work, and
Yeah, that's what I mean.
panic, get them out.
That's what I was getting at before when I said when I did the last one in September last year. Yeah, September last year. It was Nathan Barry's didn't work. Dean Barry's didn't work. Yours leaked.
Yeah.
I think there was someone else's. Something else was wrong with someone else's. I can't remember now. And then the thing I found out good, Dean comes straight over to me and wins a spec. Like 2 weeks later, he goes, I'm going to get it tested. I was there, no worries. And then see me walking through the pits, come straight over. I was sent to get it, sent it, and I had me peeling backwards.
Yeah, right.
The same as your style,
Yep.
and you can have your peeling backwards.
I didn't know you could put them in backwards.
Yeah, I
thought-
didn't.
yeah,
I didn't know
but
either. So,
obviously you
so what they call a peel is not. I always thought it's
Yeah.
this little tablet thing. What it is, it's got like a plastic backing, and it's a piece of sponge. So
Yeah.
once that sponge fills up with water, it expands over the top of the outside air valve.
Yep.
and that's how it works.
So if obviously he can put it in backwards and it didn't expand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, that's his first thing is come straight out and goes, oh, I thought, well, that's good to know.
I have heard some things with that too, that in a fast crash, those pills don't expand fast enough to seal the...
No, that's why Lifeline stopped making their
Yeah.
systems. But yeah, it's all you need to learn. Basically, it's
Yep.
good to
The more we know, the better we are.
Yeah. Go out there and do a scuba course.
100%.
It'll make you feel so much more comfortable. Like
Yeah.
the last couple of times I've done mine and my mask leaked, not once did I panic. The very first time it happened, I got out and I think Ricky Howard was running the Celtics, man, oh yeah, that was all good. And I went, fuck no, that was terrible. I said, my mask leaked and fucking everything. And he went, oh, okay. But he thought it was all good because I never panicked or did anything. I still got out okay, but I was like, nah, that was bad. That comes from doing a scuba course, I reckon, because I'm quite comfortable under the water.
They were trying to organise. I know Tracy was trying to organise to get a big group of racers to go and do them. Yeah, it's a bit hard work, and I think COVID might have fucked that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely worth.
I do remember her talking about that.
It's definitely worth going to do it because it's so much better when you can relax underwater.
It's not that expensive either in the grand scheme.
Nah,
Like, the ones we did,
$200.
ours was a bit like an advanced sort of one. But you just go and do the basic thing. It's not very dear.
No, only a
Not
couple
very
$100
dear at
bucks.
all.
Fuck all. Do 2 weekends out of your time.
Yep.
Don't think, do 2 weekends. I think you could have done one. Nah, 2. I think we had to do 2. And then we did more.
Yeah, I think you can. Is there one under open water? I think there's one under open water. So we did open water and then we did advanced as well. But I think there's one under that.
Yeah, right.
Which I'm pretty sure is like the one most people can sort of get if they just fly to Fiji or whatever and want to go scuba. Or something. They can do a little
like a familiarisation thing.
Yeah, like a hour course in the pool at the hotel or something like that. It might be the same shit in Fiji. You just do shit dodgy or something. I don't know, but I thought there was one under open water. That's something we can probably look up and have a look later anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get on to that other question.
Yeah, I got a question from Daniel Schaefer.
Oh, this will be a good one.
This is a good one.
Yeah, Michael and Hayden and Joel. I just want to know when Michael's going to race his boat. Stops talking about it. All I hear is about this big new blower and it's doing 162 mile an hour, but never seen it. Just get on the water. People are keen.
You won't see it because it's that fast. That's why you haven't seen it yet.
We hope.
Yeah, that was just a little dig. He actually has got a couple of questions.
Yobbo.
Yeah, g'day boys. I wanted to ask a question about what you think of the spacing of the spectacular dates in regards to Tari being on Easter and Easter moves every year. I reckon that we should split them up so it's sort of one a month. Melton, February, Tari, March, Yarra, April, Adelaide, May, Dargle, June, Laidley or whatever, July. Windsor's always in September. The Terrace or whatever, October, we look at it like that. But then also the APBA not sanctioning event on Easter. I reckon that they'll get more boats to Tari and the others lets the boys get their gear ready.
Dates has always been a big
I can't pick on too much
question.
with that recording.
No, that was reasonable audio.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's a bigger can of worms than most people probably think. And the first thing I'll say is no one really understands how hard that calendar is to do when they haven't seen it be done. If you're in the room, in the meeting, when they're trying to organise that calendar, it happens for months, organising that calendar. It happens for months just to organise the New South Wales calendar before it gets even sent to national. And then, there may be adjustments that are needed from there. The other thing is, so he's talked about major days. We need a better classification from the APBA what a major day actually is, what it consists of. Because, like I've said before on here, there's clubs that have so-called major days that probably aren't really major days, and they think they are, but they're not. They don't attract big boats. They don't do lots of things. So Omen's missed out on a couple of so-called major events there, like Epilogue and Glen Maggie, and there's a few other ones in Perth as well. That's the first problem. What is a major day? I agree with him having to spread them out. That's a nice idea.
I think the spread was actually pretty good for the clubs that he'd actually mentioned, but what about all the rest in between?
There's a few clubs that can't race unless the tide's right.
So that's why Adelaide needs their certain date.
Raymond Terrace is the same.
Okay.
And then you have issues like we're having now with Melton out of water. Epilogue can be the same. It can get low. Weather
Same
as well.
Same as Glen Maggie.
Yeah, as soon as one gets cancelled or not cancelled, postponed,
everyone's on the back foot.
They've got to try and slot that into somewhere else.
Which if you won't. Theoretically, if you go off.
Yeah, well, if you go off that sort of system, you can't fit it back in.
Mm.
So, and the other reason is everyone's greedy. No club gives a shit about any other club.
No.
They just want to get their own shit done, and they don't care about another club. And whilever that happens, the APBA are happy to let it happen because they don't actually run the show. You're just asking them for a day, and we're looking at it going, yep, that day doesn't really clash with anything else. You're sweet. Yeah. Off you go. So whilever clubs are happy to backstab each other, it's always going to be let go. And once there is one that gets cancelled to be postponed, they're going to try and run it again because otherwise they've got to pay for the day.
Yeah, still
anyway.
paying for the day.
And a major meeting, a 3-day meeting, I'm pretty sure it's going to be up around like
it's about $4,000 or something.
Nah, it's dearer than that. It'd be like $6,000, probably closer to $8,000.
Yeah,
There's a lot of money to put an event on. Just that license.
I think it's around, and I haven't been to a meeting for a little bit, but I think to run one day from the National APBA, the bill is $2,500 thereabouts.
Yeah, right.
So if you run 3 days, there's $7,500
before you pay prize money.
Before you do anything.
Rent the venue, buy food, buy drinks, all that sort of shit. Just that, and that's not just going into nothing. That goes towards covering the.
It's insurance.
That's all the days it covered is
that's
insurance
right,
cost.
It's the insurance cost, yeah. So anyone that's complaining about the price, that's why.
It is what it is. I mean, I think it went down a little bit this year. I think because maybe we didn't have as many days or something like that. So it might have went down a little bit this year, but they're just round figures. And as far like Easter, I don't remember a time where I wasn't at Easter. I wasn't at Taree at Easter, but I do see the point of it. I think Taree's main problem is, as far as they're concerned, if they give up Easter, someone else will jump on it.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's what he's saying. No one else can take it.
If no one else takes it, if the APBA would just ban Easter and it can't be used, like in saying that, like everyone, the excuses that it moves is not an excuse
because you can look at it years in advance.
You can look the next 50 years. You know where it's going to be.
I can look at that 10 years in advance and tell you exactly when Easter's going to be. So that's not an excuse. The only legit excuse I would say is because you already have a Friday and a Monday off. Like for general people that work, like you know, wives, kids, families, all that stuff. That's an easy weekend.
School holidays
to go away with your family.
Yeah,
generally.
Not try and jam some boat racing in. But also that if you're a massive boat racing family, that also gives you a really easy excuse to go to Taree to go racing.
Well, that was my family's thing.
Because you have 2 days off. No one has to have time off work or anything
right.
to go to Taree. But I do think it probably would help them not running on Easter weekend.
In my opinion on that, and I have thought about it, not going to Taree the last couple of years, although we went last year, but yeah. I think if they fix their weekend, say the start of April, end of March, that weekend, when it generally falls around then, and Easter does happen to fall then so be it. It falls on it.
Oh, they're not saying don't run at Easter. They're
No,
just
but that's
saying
what no one
because
else.
if
No
you're
one
trying
else
to
can
run on
have
Easter, it's a
that day.
problem.
You can't just go. Yep, Raymond Terrace. That's I want that day.
If Taree were to give that up, you'd have to be making
Locking
sure
it
the
in.
APBA says no one else can
No,
have that
yeah.
weekend ever.
But then fix their day. I think at the end of March, start of April that weekend, when it falls over the 29th, 1st, wherever it falls.
Yeah. Sometimes you're going to get a long weekend. Sometimes you're not.
Yeah, every 4 years or whatever it ends up being, 5 years, you get the long weekend, and everyone goes, oh yeah, well we'll go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my opinion on it. But
Someone told me once too, a pretty influential person in the sport said it's silly to run race meetings on long weekends if you want to get help from your local councils and governments.
Yeah, because the park's always wanting to be used anyway.
Long weekends, there's people already coming to town.
yeah,
You need to show them that you can bring people in on a weekend that's not so big, like just your average
Yeah,
weekend.
that doesn't really seem to help Hawkesbury.
No, because the Hawkesbury Council are fucking dogs.
yeah. Can't even fix the fucking roads. But yeah, so it's a bit of a can of worms.
Yeah, it's
Sorting that one
a
out.
lot bigger can of worms than you think. Like if you want to spread major days one day apart, the first thing we need to do is work out what actually is a major day. You need a list of criteria to make it a major day.
Yeah,
And
they could say one major day a month, and if you want to run a 2-day event, it's a major day. And
yeah, but there's got to be more than that because people run 2-day events all the time. There's got to be you've got to be able to attract a certain number of boats. What that number of boats is, I don't know. That's for someone smarter than me to make up. But and then so you have like tiers. So say you have like your gold, silver, and bronze events. Your gold events are your big meetings. You get
sailboats only.
Pretty good prize money. Lots of boats turn up. It's a great venue, like pit area wise. There's lots of accommodation around, restaurants, all that kind of stuff. That's your criteria. And let's just call it your minimum entry for boats is 50. If you can't get 50 boats, you're not a gold tier event. You go back to silver. And if you want to get back to gold, you've got to work your way up to that. And if there's a silver event, like let's say we cap it at say eight events for the year. Let's 10. So you got 2 months off. 10 events for the year. There's 10 gold events. If there's a silver event that's qualifying to be gold, but it's not getting there because these ones are all going good, bad luck. You just got to stay at silver. But as soon as a gold one drops at standard, the silver one gets to jump up, and then you get your chance to try and pull more off or something like that.
Yep.
I don't really know. There'd be a system there that some more intelligent people than me could sit down and work out. But it does. The idea of spreading them is a great idea, but you need to determine what's a major meeting and what's not. And you will piss people off by putting in a criteria.
Oh, 100%.
Even if you make it a minimum amount of prize money, you've got to have 50 grand's worth of prize money to share out. That'll knock a few people out of the race.
Oh, probably would.
Fucking knock all of them out of the race.
But then they can still have like your silver tier event where you can get your certain people, but you don't get some kind of advertisement benefits or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think we're at that point in the sport to go. Yeah, this is what you can do. This is what you can't do. I think a major meeting should be sailboats only.
Yeah, well,
apart from say chuck 25s in there just to be a support class.
I'm more than happy for it to be sailboats only because that's what most other sort of sports do.
Yeah,
your big meetings are your top level race cars or bikes or whatever, and no one else goes there. But like we said, there's clubs around that think they have major days, but they don't.
Yeah,
they have a bit better than a club day.
Yeah, glorified trophy day. But yeah, that's another.
Windsor gets more boats to some club days than some other clubs get to their major events.
Yeah,
That's right.
They've had some big club days lately.
And that does help being, smack bang sort of in the middle of Sydney.
Fresh water and everyone wants to run on it.
There's a lot of people that live around here that love racing at Windsor.
And they're well run club days.
Yeah.
Like they're
but they're well run
rent
because
crew.
they do run them.
Yeah.
They run them regularly and frequently And that's why their spectaculars run so well. That's why
Yeah.
they can run 50 races a day on a spectacular. No one else gets even close to that.
Yeah.
A lot of clubs run half that and they struggle and they get whinged at because the day's taken too long and whatever else.
The ramp helps, but the way that the people that are involved that have done it for that long
Yep.
and do it all the time, it just
True.
runs faultlessly majority of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Anyway, good question, Omen.
good question.
job.
Keep them coming in. Well, if anyone else wants to throw a question in, the email is the high speed garage at a high speed garage podcast at gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you work out how to email them in off your
If you can
voice
remember-
recording app.
If you can remember the email address.
Yeah, well, you struggle sometimes.
We'd
Well,
prefer to
that's-
go to the email just so we don't get lost.
Yeah.
Because we're getting them here, there, and everywhere. We're getting texts, Facebook messages, personal messages.
Through the messenger, it's all right. I don't mind them through Messenger.
Yeah.
They're still
Well,
just
just
there.
message the page. Don't message one of us personally. Just
I
so
can guarantee I've had questions come to me and I've missed them because I've gone, oh yeah, cool, and then forgotten about them.
yeah, because people send them to a million different spots. If we can get them all into one spot, which the email's probably ideal because we can all get that at any point. Second favourite would be
Messenger.
the High Speed Garage Messenger page.
Phone's on silent. Oh, yeah. We've had Mikey Johnson put a post in the HSG pit stop group. Said a bit of F1 talk. Anyone else think Monaco just looks weird these days? The cars are so fast and so big, they just look awkward going around the track.
As I was saying before, like the track is not really designed. It's not a good overtaking track, which is because of, as Mikey said, the cars are so big and fast. Like back in the day when they were, like you watch a race with, say back when Ayrton Senna was racing around.
It's
Like,
funny
that
because
was
I did watch one the other day,
awesome.
and there was still no passing.
The back in Senna days.
Yeah, I watched the race. It was only sort of the last, I don't know, 10 laps or something like that, and it was Ayrton Senna and Nigel Mansell in 1 and 2.
Yep.
Nigel Mansell pitted to got new tyres, so he ended up behind Senna, so he was in the lead. He caught Senna with like 4 laps to go and just could not get past him.
Really?
Caught him easy as, because the car on fresh tyres was so much faster, and just couldn't go past him.
So are we just looking through rose-coloured glasses that Monaco was good?
Yeah, I think it's only good for the spectacle of the whole thing.
It's a really spectacular
Yeah,
event.
like all the flash hotels and boats,
Boats out on
and,
the harbour
yeah.
and shit.
and any tiny little street. So it's no different to watching like supercars on a street circuit here. Not much passing and shit goes on.
No.
Just because it's a smaller. The only thing you can hope for is you can pressure someone enough so they crash.
And that happens.
Well, yeah, it does. But that's sort of your only option to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Mikey, anyway, for posting there and keeping
in the
some
group.
conversation happening and whatnot. Yeah, so if anyone else wants to start a conversation in there or
Jump in.
jump in, doesn't have to be sports, well, sports mainly, but it can be whatever you want to throw in there. Funny stuff, whatever.
I'm really hanging on someone to talk about aliens with me. I like aliens. I like the conspiracies.
Find some stuff in there. Get Michael talking.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
There's some fucking strange ones out there, though, isn't there?
Most of them involve triangles.
All right, we'll get into meme of the week. I'll go first because I've just brought it up. That's why I wasn't chatting. I had to find it. Remember where it was.
Fire.
It's a really good one. I really resonate with this one.
You now, guys, as you get older, the amount of time you get to spend with your guy, this is a real genuine male issue. The amount of time you get to spend with your guy mates diminishes as you get older.
Exponentially.
Absolutely, as you know, the responsibilities of life take over. Until the breath runs out of my body, I will always be excited about sitting on the train, heading off somewhere with my mates, and at 9:30 in the morning, the first crack of the tin goes. There is no way that is never not exciting. Yeah. The thrill of it, the lack of responsibility of it for just those few short hours. The world is yours to go and attain and achieve and be excited by. You only live once. You go and get it, and I love it. I love that. Would you like you?
Yeah,
Yeah, I totally agree. That's why we're here.
basically.
That's why
While
we're
we're
here
here,
doing this.
and I look back at, I blame the old man for a lot of the times, but this passion of the sport we've got, if we were in like a bigger dollar like go-karts or supercars or something like that, you wouldn't enjoy your mates around you anywhere near as much as we do. It's pretty social, the boat racing scene, and yeah, I know I've got a lot of good mates, and I probably wouldn't have that if I didn't have this sport behind me. So thankful for all the boys that are around me. Have a good time.
I really resonated with sitting on the train part. As soon as he said sitting on the train, I was like, oh, where are we going?
Yeah, it's just not even just the train, the car. As soon as you get in the car, it's like fuck yeah, we're having beers or what?
Yeah, well, fucking hell, when we drove to Yarrawonga the other week.
Yeah, we had to wait then.
I wanted to crack one as soon as we left the driveway. Because
I was carrying shit for days before that.
Because Joel was driving, we had to wait till we got to the Hume.
That was an hour down the road. Not even.
I love that, eh? That's fucking the best. All right, play Hayden's
So
on.
you got my one. So you'll hear the main bloke talking, and Scott Dixon, which is Alex Pillow's teammate.
Chat. I've also got a surprise for Alex. I've brought yourself, your wife, all your family summer vacation. It starts this Thursday. It's for 5 weeks, so I hope you really enjoy it. It's all included, man. Whatever you need.
He might still be the championship leader when he gets back.
I've also got a surprise.
So Alex Pillow is dominating in IndyCar at the moment, and Scotty wants to send him off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, right.
Send him on a holiday so he can get away from racing. It's whatever it's going to happen, he's just gonna win. It's bloody awesome.
All right, I'll get mine up. I'm just going to have a little laugh at this. I thought this was pretty funny. Here's mine.
Shouldn't have eaten 3 plates of beans at lunch, but I did it anyway because it's my birthday and Taco Tuesday, and I just thought, yeah, I'm going to eat the beans that I want to eat, knowing I should not have eaten them. And then when I got home, my husband was like, hey, I have a surprise for you. And I was like, oh, fun. And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to blindfold you. And then he blindfolded me, and then he took me into the other room, and he sat me down. And then right as he sat me down, his phone rang. And he was like, I'm so sorry. I have to take this really fast. Don't take off your blindfold, though. Like, just wait. And so I sat there, and I heard him leave the room. So he was out of the room. And I was uncomfortable from the pressure. And so I was like, well, he's out of the room. So I let one rip. And it was bad. It was bad. It was really, it smelled like a fertilizer truck had run over a skunk. So now I'm still eavesdropping. He's still full blown in this conversation on the phone. It's a work thing. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to let a couple more rip. So I let like 3 more just rip. They're terrible. And then I hear him start to get off the phone. So I'm like taking a pillow right from the couch, and I'm like fanning around to try to get the smell to go away. And it like kind of goes away. And then I put the pillow next to me, and then he comes back into the room, and he's like, okay, are you ready? And he takes off my blindfold, and all of my friends and family were sitting there. And then they said, surprise, happy birthday. What is this a toast to, Chris?
I can guarantee that was going in the back of my mind. I was like, this is so good.
Poor fucker. Yeah, well, they're fucking some good ones. Yeah, righto. We'll wrap it up, Ian. It's another long episode.
We had fun.
Yeah, it's been good.
Sort of sorry.
Not really. So, yeah, send your questions in. Voice recordings into the High Speed Garage Podcast at gmail.com. Hopefully we can start getting a constant flow of questions.
Yeah, get some questions in.
And yeah, so don't forget us to add us on the socials, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and whatnot. Rate us on Spotify if you can, with 5 stars, of course, to get our whatever that does for us. It's got to do something.
Get you up in the algorithm.
Yeah, so
Helps push our shit round.
yeah.
We like pushing shit round.
All right, we'll get going.
So out.
Catch us later.
Bye.